Chapter 89. Forest of No Return. The most dangerous place in Black Rock City. This ancient forest has existed for countless years. It was filled with demonic beasts and venomous bugs. Those that entered rarely came out alive. Arriving at the Forest of No Return, Li Fuchen dived in without any hesitation. In the deepest part of the Forest of No Return, 8 constables were carefully searching for something. Constables, the existence of the cities specialized in capturing criminals. The weakest of these constables was at least at the 2nd level of the Origin Realm, while the strongest was at the 4th level of the Origin Realm. 6 bro, don't you think the city lord is making a mountain out of a molehill? It's just a murderer, why must we enter the Forest of No Return to capture him? Isn't it the same when he comes out? The youngest constable complained. The constable who was addressed as 6th bro said, "Are you stupid? Don't you know what our city lord hates the most?" What does he hate the most? A villain who humiliates women. This Jiang Dahai brutally raped and killed Merchant Wang's daughter. This is a taboo of the city lord. Another dark-skinned middle-aged constable interrupted. Moreover, Merchant Wang has already announced that anyone who can capture Jiang Dahai will be rewarded with 50,000 gold coins. This is 50,000 gold coins. If we divide it evenly, each of us will get close to 10,000 gold coins. I am just complaining. Didn't I hear that the Forest of No Return is dangerous? The young constable scratched his head and laughed. Patting on the shoulder of the young constable, the dark-skinned constable was about to say something, but his eyes suddenly widened as he clutched his neck and fell backwards. An arrow pierced through his neck unknowingly. Fresh blood spurted out from the back of his neck and stained the ground. "Be careful." The constable who was addressed as 6th bro said sternly. Swish. A sharp piercing sound could be heard as another constable fell to the ground. "Quick, manifest your chi." 6th bro revolved his technique and a layer of pale blue mist was emitted from his body to protect his body. Hearing the command, the other constables all released their chi glow. Bang. The 3rd arrow was shot. Fortunately, this constable had chi protection and didn't get pierced. But the powerful impact from the arrowhead caused him to vomit a large mouthful of blood and suffered serious injuries. What a good Jiang Dahai. Looks like we've all underestimated him. Outside, he hasn't used his full strength at all. Brother 6 said coldly. The power of a bow and arrow also depended on the archer. Under normal circumstances, when the difference in cultivation level wasn't huge, it would be hard for an archer to penetrate through chi and heavily injure an Origin Realm martial artist with a single arrow. After all, with such a long distance between them, the chi on the arrow would have dissipated by quite a bit. After slashing an arrow with his sword, Brother 6 dashed toward the direction where the arrow came from. Very quickly, Brother 6 found an abandoned bow and arrows. This bow and arrows were obviously made at the last minute. The body of the bow was carved from ironwood, and the bowstring was made from the tendons of a kind of demon beast. This kind of temporarily manufactured bow and arrow usually wouldn't last long. A real finished bow and arrow required many processes. With an ominous premonition in his heart, Brother 6 hurriedly returned the way he came. In the clearing in the forest, a valiant middle-aged man chopped off the head of a young bailiff with one sword strike. Around the valiant middle-aged man were 2 corpses that had fallen. In a short period of time, of the 7 bailiffs, 5 were dead and 1 was seriously injured. Only Brother 6 was unharmed. Bastard! Brother 6's eyes turned red as he roared. Jiang Dahai grinned. "The moment you chased after me, you were already dead. Don't worry, I will not kill you immediately. I will hang you on a tree and slowly drain your blood. The poisonous bugs here love to burrow into flesh and blood." He, Jiang Dahai, was never willing to be under anyone. Merchant Wang thought that since he saved his life, Jiang Dahai would do anything for him. But Merchant Wang was wrong, ridiculously wrong. But Merchant Wang's daughter was rather beautiful, with soft skin and tender flesh. A pity that he didn't get to play with any of Merchant Wang's wives. Deep in the forest, there were plenty of poisonous bugs. Walking in the Forest of No Return, Li Fuchen would release his chi from time to time to kill the approaching poisonous bugs. These poisonous bugs were basically class 1 low-tier or mid-tier poisonous bugs. Their combat strength was very low and any Qi realm martial artist could easily kill them. But as long as the bugs were of a certain class, their venom would be strong. Once bitten, even an Origin realm martial artist would be in trouble. And Origin realm martial artists couldn't possibly manifest their Qi all the time, as it would consume too much Qi. Li Fuchen didn't have to worry about getting bitten, but he didn't want the poisonous bugs to come into contact with his body. Some of the poisonous bugs were sticky and had a foul smell. Just a little bit would cause the smell to linger for days. Unknowingly, Li Fuchen arrived at the depths of the forest of no return. There are footprints here. Li Fuchen's eyesight was exceptional and could easily spot shallow footprints that normal people couldn't see. Following these footprints, Li Fuchen gradually approached the location of the battle. Stone Splitter Sword Style. As a 4th level Origin realm martial artist, 6th Bro's combat strength wasn't weak. His Stone Splitter Sword style was domineering and could easily split a giant boulder. Leaping up high, 6th Bro cleaved at Jiang Dahai. Since you are already a dead man, I shall let you witness my true ability. Jiang Dahai's Qi presence exploded from the 4th level of the Origin realm to the 5th level. Clang. Jiang Dahai's sword clashed with 6th Bro's snow steel sword. Vomiting a mouthful of fresh blood, 6th Bro flew backwards. 5th level of the Origin realm? 6th Bro was in disbelief. The difference between the 1st level and the 1st level of the Origin realm was extremely huge. Unless one cultivated a higher tier cultivation technique or martial arts, it was impossible to surpass levels in combat. Jiang Dahai laughed. That's right. I am not at the 4th level of the Origin realm, but at the 5th level. I have also learned a yellow class, peak tier sword art, the heavy mountain sword style. What makes you think you can fight against me? In a small-sized city, a yellow class, peak tier sword art was basically the top-notch sword art. Jiang Dahai coincidentally obtained this sword art manual from a cave. 6th Bro's expression was dejected, but he didn't want to admit defeat. Even if you kill me, there will be more formidable constables coming to capture you. You can't escape. Don't worry. After killing you, I will escape to another region. Do you think that Songlan sect's claws can reach other regions? Jiang Dahai laughed coldly. In the Songlan region, many criminals would escape to other regions. Correspondingly, criminals from other regions would also escape to the Songlan region. The Songlan region was ruled by the Songlan sect. The other regions would naturally be ruled by other sections. Going to other sects' territories to capture criminals would be a little restrictive. With the lack of information, once there was a conflict, there was a high chance of death. Escape to another region? Which region do you want to escape to? A clear voice echoed from the forest. Who is it? Jiang Dahai got a shock and shouted. Songlan sect inner sect disciple. A shadow flashed by and Li Fuchen appeared on top of a huge tree silently. Songlan sect inner sect disciple? Jiang Dahai's eyes shrunk. Even if they were both Origin realm martial artists, the difference was extremely huge. Songlan sect inner sect disciples, be it their cultivation techniques or martial arts, were all elite. With similar cultivation levels, a Songlan sect inner sect disciple could kill any Origin realm martial artist in an instant. But after realizing that Li Fuchen was only at the 2nd level of the Origin realm, Jiang Dahai let out a hearty laugh. Just a 2nd level Origin realm martial artist and you dare to show yourself? You really don't know your place. Chapter 90. 2nd level of the Origin realm? 6th Bro's eyes lit up with hope but was instantly extinguished. His face turned ashen. A Songlan sect inner sect disciple at the 2nd level of the Origin realm might be able to go against a 4th level Origin realm martial artist, but to kill a 4th level Origin realm martial artist, it would be extremely difficult. Not to mention a 5th level Origin realm martial artist. Unless it was a 3-star or 4-star bone frame prodigy. Go to hell! Jiang Dahai extended his hand and a snow steel sword was sucked into his hand. Revolving his qi, Jiang Dahai threw out the snow steel sword. Swish! The snow-steel sword turned into a cold ray of light and struck at Li Fuchen. On the surface of the snow-steel sword, there was a layer of faint black mist. That was the qi on the sword. Jiang Dahai was a cunning and cruel person. Even if he didn't think Li Fuchen was a match for him, but if there was a chance for a sneak attack, he wouldn't let it go. The snow-steel sword was extremely fast. If it was any other second-level origin realm martial artist, they would be waiting for death. But Jiang Dahai found the wrong opponent. Using his left hand's index and middle fingers, Li Fuchen gently caught the tip of the snow-steel sword. The astounding speed of the snow-steel sword couldn't even tremble a bit in between Li Fuchen's fingers. It went from extreme speed to extreme stillness. The qi on the sword was also neutralized. How is this possible? Jiang Dahai's mouth was wide open. Sixth Bro was astonished. I'll return it to you. With a flick of his left hand, the snow-steel sword changed direction and shot at Jiang Dahai at an even faster speed. The sword penetrated his chest, causing Jiang Dahai to spit out a large mouthful of fresh blood. Run! Jiang Dahai was afraid. He didn't care if his injuries would worsen if he moved too quickly. How could he not run? His opponent was definitely a monster. The sword he had thrown out with all his might had actually been caught by the other party's 2 fingers. What kind of ability did he need to achieve this? Can you escape? With a ghostly flash, Li Fuchen appeared in front of Jiang Dahai, blocking his escape route. Die for me! Jiang Dahai's eyes were bloodshot. With his qi circulating at a high speed, he who was already severely injured had blood flowing out of his orifices, making him look like a ferocious ghost. Under such intense movements, half of his body was dyed red. A sharp piercing sound could be heard as Jiang Dahai slashed at Li Fuchen's face. His head flew high into the air. Against Jiang Dahai's oath of death, Li Fuchen only executed a single blade. The speed of this sword was indescribable. It was as if a gentle breeze had blown past, and Jiang Dahai's head had been chopped off. Too weak. Li Fuchen shook his head. A 5th-level origin realm martial artist was much weaker than he imagined. If someone who knew about Li Fuchen's background was here, they would definitely roll their eyes at Li Fuchen. It's not that Jiang Dahai is weak, it's that you're too strong. Jiang Dahai's cultivation technique was only a high-tier, yellow-class technique. The highest rank he could achieve was equivalent to the 4th rank of the Scarlet Mystic Flame technique. There was a difference of 6 ranks between him and Li Fuchen. How was he going to fight? Other than that, how many people could cultivate all the yellow-grade sword techniques to the acme of perfection? For example, Jiang Dahai had obtained the peak-tier, yellow-class, heavy mountain sword art for many years, but he had only managed to cultivate it to the stage of greater mastery. He was still 3 realms away from mastery. Maybe I'm too strong. Easily completing the hard class, low-tier sect mission, Li Fuchen naturally felt a little disappointed. But after thinking about it, he felt that it was reasonable. After all, he wasn't a regular inner sect disciple. The Zhanglan sect's 2nd-level origin realm 3rd-grade inner sect disciples could only cultivate peak-tier, yellow-class techniques to the highest rank. Their sword arts were also peak-tier, yellow-class sword arts. Even if they redeemed a mystic-class, low-tier sword art, it would only be at the entry stage and wouldn't be able to display much of its prowess. For them to be at the 2nd level of the origin realm against a 4th-level origin realm martial artist would be a little strenuous. They could at most resist. Against a 5th-level origin realm martial artist, they could only run for their lives. Many thanks to this young hero for saving my life. 6th Bro, who had just escaped from death, was filled with admiration and gratitude. From his perspective, Li Fuchen was able to kill Jiang Dahai in a single blade. He must be a prodigy in the Zhanglan sect. Such a prodigy's status wouldn't be inferior to the Blackrock City Lord. No need to thank me. I just completed the sect mission. Li Fuchen searched Jiang Dahai's body. Soon enough, he found 2 gold cards with a face value of 10,000 gold coins. Be it in the Zhanglan region or any other region, there was only 1 gold bank. This gold bank was called the Wan Tong Gold Bank. As long as one had a gold card, they could exchange gold coins at any branch of the Wan Tong Gold Bank. It was very convenient. Young hero, Merchant Wang has placed a bounty of 50,000 gold coins for the capture of Jiang Dahai. Since you killed Jiang Dahai, you can go to Blackrock City and claim the bounty. It wasn't that sixth bro didn't want to keep the 50,000 gold coins, but without Jiang Dahai's head, Merchant Wang wouldn't admit it. Hence, he could only do this favor. Oh, is there such a thing? Li Fuchen raised his brows and revealed a smile. Wanted criminals usually had a bounty, but it wasn't much unless there was an additional bounty. It was obvious that this Jiang Dahai offended Merchant Wang, which was why Merchant Wang had placed a bounty on his head. Carrying the severely injured constable, sixth bro looked at the corpses on the ground and thought to himself, "Brothers, I can only let you guys suffer." He couldn't carry all the corpses away and could only leave them to be bitten by the venomous bugs. Let me bring them out of the forest of no return. Li Fuchen was returning the favor. Had it not been for sixth bro's reminder, he might have missed out on the 50,000 gold coins. With the addition of Jiang Dahai's corpse, the 6 corpses didn't even add up to 500 kilograms, which was nothing to Li Fuchen. Wrapping the corpses in a giant piece of cloth, Li Fuchen easily carried it. Hiss, hiss, hiss. On the way back, a giant centipede demonic beast blocked their path. It was a Class 2 low-tier demonic beast, vicious venomous centipede. The vicious venomous centipede was extremely venomous and could easily poison an Origin Realm martial artist to death. Its body was covered in a layer of hard carapace. A regular low-leveled Origin Realm martial artist wouldn't be able to break its defense. The vicious venomous centipede was 3 meters long. It lifted its head and spat out a large amount of venomous gas at Li Fuchen and sixth bro visible to the naked eye. The leaves and grass within a radius of 7 to 8 meters started to wither. With a flash of his sword, Li Fuchen easily decapitated the vicious venomous centipede. Let's continue walking. Li Fuchen wasn't interested in the materials from the vicious venomous centipede. Even if he sold the whole thing, it would only be worth a few hundred gold coins. Sixth bro didn't have the strength to do so, or else he wouldn't have let go of the materials from the vicious venomous centipede. Leaving the forest of no return, Li Fuchen and sixth bro arrived at Blackrock City. Due to Li Fuchen's status as an inner sect disciple of the Zhanglan sect, he was able to smoothly claim the 50,000 gold coins reward from Merchant Wang. Under Merchant Wang's request, Li Fuchen handed over Jiang Dahai's corpse to Merchant Wang. Li Fuchen wasn't interested to know what kind of state the corpse would be in. The Blackrock City's lord wanted Li Fuchen to stay in the city for a day, but was rejected by Li Fuchen. 70,000 gold coins sure is easy. Chapter 91. Back at the sect, Li Fuchen handed in his mission and accepted another one. The quest this time was no longer a low-tier quest. Instead, it was an elite, intermediate quest. The mission was to annihilate the Black Wind Bandit group in the east of Azure Forest City and retrieve the head of the Black Wind Bandit group's leader. The mission reward was 8,000 contribution points. Is this guy crazy? He actually dared to accept an intermediate elite quest. A regular 5th-level Origin Realm inner sect disciple wouldn't dare to accept a mission of this grade. Only 3 or 4 mid-level Origin Realm inner sect disciples would dare to accept it. I recognize him. He is called Li Fuchen and was once the outer sect's #1 disciple. So what if he's the #1 disciple of the outer sect? The inner sect is filled with crouching tigers and hidden dragons. That's right. The Black Wind Bandit Band has over 100 men and their leader is at the 6th level of the Origin Realm. Going alone would be courting death. In the mission hall, plenty of inner sect disciples were pointing at Li Fuchen. Are you sure you want to accept this mission? The inner sect deacon of the mission hall frowned. I'm sure. Li Fuchen nodded. All right. The inner sect deacon was speechless. To even accept such a mission, Xianxia wondered if the other party had lost his mind. However, according to the rules of the mission hall, apart from the first mission, one had to take on a low-grade mission. The rest of the missions were up to them, and he had no right to interfere. Otherwise, he wouldn't have allowed the other party to take on this mission. He didn't have the qualifications to do so. Under the attention of everyone, Li Fuchen left the mission hall. Qinglin City was very far from the Azure Water sect, even further than the previous trip to Blackrock City. Li Fuchen still didn't ride the demonic blood horse and used the wind shadow steps to hasten his journey. Half a month later, Li Fuchen finally arrived at the east side of Qinglin City. It was already late at night, and the silhouette of a small town came into Zhao Yunyang's line of sight. Under the afterglow of the setting sun, the town appeared quiet and serene. In the town's only restaurant, several martial artists were drinking. Seeing Li Fuchen coming in from the outside, a few of them had a flash of light in their eyes. To be able to venture out into the world at such a young age, he was either ridiculously strong or indifferent to worldly affairs. Li Fuchen didn't eat in the main hall. He asked the waiter to send his dinner to his room. "Young hero, your dinner is here." The waiter knocked on the door. "Put it on the table." In the bathroom, Li Fuchen was taking a bath. "All right." The waiter pushed open the guest room door, put down the dinner, and left, closing the door behind him. Squinting his eyes, Li Fuchen lay comfortably in the barrel. The reason why he accepted 2 missions in a row was that he didn't want to live too comfortably. There is a saying that goes, "Live in hardship and perish in ease." Cultivating in silence seemed to save energy, but that was not the case. Martial artists needed to have the fighting spirit to fight against the heavens, against the earth, and against others. Without this fighting spirit, no matter how high one's aptitude was, one's potential would not be able to reach the limit. But in the Zhanglan sect, due to the sect rules, disciples were not allowed to kill each other, which was why there were sect missions. However, if the sect's missions were too simple, they wouldn't be of any use. Li Fuchen needed to know his own limits. This was the main reason why he had accepted the intermediate elite quest. Earning contribution points and coins was secondary. The night passed. The next morning, Li Fuchen set off for Lianyun Mountains. Lianyun Mountains was the largest mountain range in Qinglin City. It was connected to many other cities. The Lianyun Mountains had undulating peaks and countless caves. Whenever the Qinglin City's city lord sent out an army to eliminate the Black Wind Bandit band, they would always escape. As time passed, the Qinglin City's city lord didn't put in as much effort anymore. Along the way, Li Fuchen saw many villages in a mess. After asking around, he found out that the Black Wind Bandit band just came a few days ago. Not only did they steal all their gold coins, they even abducted the prettiest girls in the village. This small band of bandits sure are arrogant. To be honest, a bandit band whose leader was only at the 5th level of the origin realm wasn't considered a big bandit band. A real big bandit band would definitely have an Earth realm martial artist. As the upper echelons of the Zhanglan sect wouldn't bother with local affairs, these matters were handled by the city lord. So as long as the big bandit bands didn't do anything like massacring a village, and were smart, they would usually be able to live a carefree life for a long time. Until one day, when an unexpected disaster befalls, they would collapse. Black Wind Valley, a treacherous place in the Lianyun Mountains. On both sides of the valley, there were towering peaks and precipitous cliffs. In the middle, there was only a small path. If a large group of people were to enter, they would be buried alive by the rolling boulders from both sides of the mountain, leaving nothing behind. Li Fuchen was bold and without hesitation, he stepped into the Black Wind Valley. "Chief," someone entered the Black Wind Valley. On one side of the cliff was a cave. Inside the cave, a 9th level Qi realm martial artist reported to the skinny man. "Let's go take a look." The skinny man came to the entrance of the cave and looked down. On the small path in the valley, a gray-robed youth was walking into the depths of the Black Wind Valley. A little brat. Chapter 92. Third Chieftain, Third Chieftain. From another spacious cave, a voice could be heard. "Courting death, who is it?" This was a cave room. The floor of the cave was covered with demonic beast fur. A fat figure was pressing on top of a strong man, squirming nonstop. Hearing the voice from outside, he couldn't help but roar. "Third Chieftain, we caught a handsome youth and brought him to you." The voice was filled with flattery. "Handsome youth." The fat figure lifted his head. It was an ugly woman who was as fat as a pig. Her eyes were glowing and her saliva was dripping down. What's the use of keeping you? After killing the strong man, the ugly woman stood up and walked out of the cave. Outside the cave, the skinny man was holding Li Fuchen. Third chieftain. Seeing the ugly woman, the skinny man got nervous. The third chieftain was called Xianxia and was at the 5th level of the origin realm. She cultivated a unique technique called the soft cotton technique. The soft cotton technique didn't just cultivate qi, it also refined the body. The more fat on the body, the stronger the body. If a regular 5th level origin realm martial artist didn't use a weapon, they wouldn't even be able to break through Xianxia's defense. Xianxia was lustful. Within the Black Wind Bandit band, as long as they had a decent appearance, they would have been forcefully taken by Xianxia. The skinny man was no exception. Luckily, the Black Wind chief restrained her. If not, no one would want to stay in the Black Wind Bandit band. This is the handsome youth you were talking about? The ugly woman looked at Li Fuchen and drooled. Li Fuchen was already handsome, with a pair of sword-like eyebrows, eyes like the stars, a tall nose, and distinct facial features. Apart from that, his valiant physique gave Li Fuchen an indescribable charm. The more the ugly woman looked at him, the more she liked him. She couldn't wait to throw herself on the ground. Yes, third chieftain. The skinny man drooled. Very well, you have done a great job. This bottle of 100-year milkstone is for you. Xianxia threw a jade bottle to the skinny man. Thank you, third chieftain. The skinny man was overjoyed. The effects of the 100-year milkstone was equivalent to a mid-tier, yellow-class pill. The value of this small bottle was almost on par with a high-tier, yellow-class pill. Putting away the jade bottle, the skinny man tactfully left. Even his steps were light. Little brother, don't worry. I will treat you well. Come in with me. Xianxia picked up the tied-up Li Fuchen and walked into the depths of the cave. Arriving at the cave room, Xianxia kicked away the dead strong man and put Li Fuchen down. She laughed. Little brother, you don't look strong, but you do have some weight. You don't look like a useless person. This is the base of the Black Wind Bandit band. Li Fuchen's muscles exerted strength and the rope broke inch by inch. A valiant qi presence was emitted from his body. For you, Xianxia was startled and immediately shouted. Who I am isn't important. What's important is that from now on, there will no longer be a Black Wind Bandit band. Courting death. Xianxia sent a palm strike at Li Fuchen. The boundless palm force caused the air in the cave to expand. But Li Fuchen pressed his palm against it. One of them was a 5th-level origin realm martial artist, and the other was a 2nd-level origin realm martial artist. Logically speaking, the former should be able to suppress the latter. But Li Fuchen wasn't a regular 2nd-level origin realm martial artist. With the Scarlet Mystic Flame technique at the 10th rank, his qi was extremely dense and pure, far surpassing a regular 5th-level origin realm martial artist. Complemented with his dominant physique, a single palm strike was able to destroy everything in its path and melt metal. Xianxia let out a miserable shriek as she flew backwards and crashed into the cave wall. Her right arm and right forearm were charred black like charcoal and the smell of roasted meat permeated the air. Xianxia wasn't bad. After suffering such a serious injury, she became even more vicious. She opened her mouth to warn the others. With a flash of a shadow, Li Fuchen pointed at Xianxia's forehead. With a tilt of her head, Xianxia went silent. The cave was connected in all directions. Every time Li Fuchen arrived at a cave room, he would swiftly finish off the bandits within. With the wind shadow steps' soundless presence, no one noticed anything amiss. Arriving at a spacious and luxurious cave room, Li Fuchen suddenly moved and drew his black iron sword. Within the cave room, 5 men were surrounding a stone table and gambling. The stone table was filled with gold coins. Based on the qi presence, 1 was at the 5th level of the origin realm, 2 were at the 3rd level of the origin realm, and 2 were at the 2nd level of the origin realm. The one at the 5th level of the origin realm was a bald man with bare arms. On his back was a tattoo of a ferocious-looking black tiger. It was probably one of the 3 leaders of the Black Wind Bandits, 2nd leader Li Heihu, who had the same surname as Li Fuchen. The other 4 should be the leaders of the Black Wind Bandits. The 5 of them were having fun and were on their guard. What's more, the 5 of them didn't think that an enemy would sneak into their lair. When Li Heihu, who had the highest cultivation level, noticed something was wrong, it was already too late. With a flash of a shadow, a cold and sharp sword light formed into a single blade. The 5 of them clutched their necks as they fell to the ground, their eyes filled with disbelief. Never in their wildest dreams would they have thought that they would be killed in their lair. They didn't expect the assailant's sword skills to be so superb, to actually slice their throats in a split second. It was a little thrilling. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Li Fuchen didn't wish to alert the enemy. The reason he was able to deal with the 5 of them in an instant wasn't because he was much stronger than them, but mainly because he had caught them off guard. If the 5 of them were on their guard, he could at most kill 2 of them in an instant, and that did not include the second in command of the Black Wind Bandits, Li Heihu. It was almost impossible to kill 3 people in an instant. Of course, if it was any other Zhonglan inner sect disciple, even if they were unprepared, they wouldn't be able to kill all 5 of them in a split second. To be able to kill 5 people in an instant, the requirements for one's movement technique and sword technique were too high. If his movement technique wasn't fast enough, the other party might be able to react. If his swordsmanship wasn't fast enough, he wouldn't be able to kill all 5 of them in an instant. Fortunately, I cultivated the Wind Shadow incantation. Even though the Wind Shadow technique was not as strong as the Scarlet Flame Mystic technique, it was fast and elusive. Moreover, with his strength, what he lacked was not attacking power. If the attack power was slightly weaker, but the speed was a level higher, it would be even more terrifying and difficult to defend against. Let's get rid of the main culprit first before going through the valuables. Li Fuchen didn't bother about the gold coins on the stone table. With a flash of his body, he skimmed out of the cavern. The cavern's main hall was grand and majestic. There were 4 entrances that were each guarded by 2 bandits. Bang bang. 2 charred corpses flew into the cavern's main hall, alerting the Black Wind Chief and the masked man. Who is it? The Black Wind Chief had an unpleasant expression on his face. The Black Wind Bandit Band had been established for more than a year, and this was the first time their nest was invaded by an enemy. This made him lose all face. Sitting on the stone chair, the masked man's palm was still caressing the naked girl's body. He spoke indifferently, "Black Wind Chief, it seems like your nest isn't that safe either." The Black Wind Chief spoke in a gloomy tone, "Lu Xiong, don't worry. I will deal with this person soon." As he spoke, he pushed away the naked girl on top of him and stood up. His cold eyes looked straight at the entrance where the 2 charred corpses flew in. Patter, patter. Footsteps could be heard as a gray-robed youth walked in. Chapter 93. Li Fuchen sized up the Black Wind Chief, who had a curly beard. The Black Wind Chief had a high cultivation level and was already at the 6th level of the Origin Realm. His weapon wasn't a sword but a saber. In the Azure Water region, most of the people used swords, and very few used other weapons. However, it was also because of this that one had to be careful when encountering martial artists using other weapons. Because you don't know his routine. As Li Fuchen was sizing up the Black Wind Chief, the Black Wind Chief was also sizing up Li Fuchen. Li Fuchen was 1.8 meters in height, with a slender body that was as straight as a spear. Standing there, he gave off a feeling of being as immovable as a mountain. An expert. Intuition told the Black Wind Chief that Li Fuchen was an expert. "Brat, you barged into my Black Wind Mountain. Do you know the punishment?" The Black Wind Chief placed his right hand on the hilt of his saber. "Chief Blackwind, you've caused chaos in Azure Forest City. How should you be punished?" Li Fuchen asked the Black Wind Chief. "Brat, you must be tired of living." The Black Wind Chief's eyes were filled with killing intent. Ignoring the murderous intent in the eyes of the Black Wind Chief, Li Fuchen tilted his head and looked at the masked man, who remained silent. In his eyes, the 6th level of the Origin Realm masked man was much more dangerous than the Black Wind Chief. Courting death. Drawing his long saber, the Black Wind Chief executed a leap slash at Li Fuchen. The timing of this blade was quite accurate, just at the moment when Li Fuchen looked at the masked man. The masked man nodded. The Black Wind Chief's combat experience was pretty good. It was a pity that he encountered Li Fuchen. Even without looking at the Black Wind Chief, Li Fuchen could sense the trajectory of this saber. With a sidestep, Li Fuchen easily avoided the slash of this saber. Chaotic Cloak Blade Art. The Black Wind Chief was much stronger than Li Fuchen imagined. After missing his first saber move, he suddenly executed a yellow class, peak tier saber art. From the looks of the saber art spirituality, it was obviously at the completion stage. It wasn't just geniuses who could train a peak tier yellow class martial art to great success. As long as an ordinary martial artist was willing to put in the time, they could also cultivate to great success. Within a radius of a few meters, Li Fuchen was instantly enveloped by the light green saber wind. Li Fuchen was trapped within and could be severed at the waist at any moment. Flying Dragon Sword Art. Against the completion stage saber style of the Black Wind Chief, Li Fuchen drew his sword and executed the yellow class, peak tier soaring dragon sword style. As he stepped into the origin realm, Li Fuchen's soaring dragon sword style had already reached the trance stage from the perfection stage. With this execution, the sword presence burst into the sky. The Black Wind Chief felt as though he saw an illusory giant dragon shaking its head and tail as it charged at him. Crackle! The chaotic cloak blade technique was broken, and the blade wind dissipated. The masked man narrowed his eyes and couldn't help but ask, "You are a Tsang Lan inner sect disciple?" To have such sword Dao proficiency at such a young age, who else could it be other than the Azure Water sect's inner sect disciples? Tsang Lan sect inner sect disciple? The Black Wind leader was startled. This group of prodigies were all malevolent stars. Before the Black Wind Bandit Band was established, one of the bandit bands was annihilated by the Azure Water sect's inner sect disciples. Li Fuchen didn't reply to them and used another soaring dragon sword style to attack the Black Wind Chief. The Black Wind Chief's chi was slightly stronger than Li Fuchen's, but his saber skills were inferior to Li Fuchen's sword skills. Ding ding dang dang. The Black Wind Chief kept retreating, and before he knew it, he had retreated to the cave wall. Rumble! Li Fuchen's blade blasted a large hole on the cave wall. The soaring dragon sword style didn't just have a high lethality, it had a wide attack range and was extremely domineering. But other than a trickle of blood from the corner of the Black Wind Chief's mouth, he didn't suffer any serious injuries. Tripart sword style. Suddenly, Li Fuchen's sword stance changed, as 3 sword lights lit up at the same time. Not good. The Black Wind Chief's eyes shrank, as more pale green chi was emitted from his body and saber. Sparks blossomed as the Black Wind Chief was able to block 2 of the sword lights in time. But he couldn't block the 3rd sword light no matter what and got cleaved at his chest. With his chi dissipating, the Black Wind Chief vomited blood as he leaned against the cave wall. He was about to be cleaved by the sword. Die! Right at this moment, the masked man made his move. The masked man's weapon was also a saber, a long and narrow saber. Once the saber was unsheathed, a majestic chi extended along the tip of the saber by 3 feet. The originally 4 feet long saber was now 7 feet long. The ground and the cave wall were split open, with gravel flying everywhere. At the crucial moment, Li Fuchen tiptoed on the ground and dodged the saber like a phantom. Such strength! Li Fuchen couldn't help but take a deep breath. They were both at the 6th level of the origin realm, but the masked man was much stronger than the Black Wind Chief. If he didn't guess wrongly, the masked man's cultivation technique should be a peak tier, yellow class technique. He could easily kill Jiang Dehai and severely injure Zhang Xinyang with a single palm strike. It wasn't because of anything else, but because he cultivated the mystic class, mid-tier, Scarlet Mystic Flame technique, and it was at the 10th rank. In a battle between martial artists, cultivation was important, but so was cultivation techniques. Both were the foundation of a martial artist. Which is why, to judge a martial artist's ability, it wasn't just the cultivation level, it was also the cultivation technique. Using the wind shadow steps, Li Fuchen constantly dodged the masked man's attacks. Swish! A naked girl was cleaved in half, while the masked man rushed out from the blood rain, forcing his way towards Li Fuchen. Damn it. Watching an innocent person die in front of him, Li Fuchen couldn't possibly not feel anything. Let's risk it all. Withdrawing the wind shadow steps, Li Fuchen switched to the Scarlet Mystic Flame technique and slashed with the Scarlet Fire Sword style's sword move, Impending Inferno. Clang. Sparks flew as Li Fuchen was sent flying. What great strength! Rubbing the ground with his feet, Li Fuchen slid a few meters away. Long River Saber style. The masked man took a few steps back too, but he quickly regained his balance and shot forward to catch up to Li Fuchen. The sounds of weapons clashing could be heard continuously. The masked man's saber style was broad, with the addition of his vigorous chi that extended for 3 feet, he completely suppressed Li Fuchen. Prairie Fire. With a burst of sword light, Li Fuchen obstructed the masked man for a split second. Making use of this split second, Li Fuchen hurriedly escaped from his opponent's sword presence. Only the meteor sword style can kill my opponent. But now is not the time, I need to land a hit. Revolving the wind shadow steps, Li Fuchen was like a lizard, sprinting along the walls of the cave, not giving the masked man a chance to catch up. What's going on? Why isn't he injured at all? As he pursued Li Fuchen, the masked man pondered. In terms of ability, he was much stronger than Li Fuchen. Logically speaking, Li Fuchen should have suffered some minor injuries after clashing with him. But looking at Li Fuchen, he was obviously full of vigor and didn't look like he was injured at all. Seems like my opponent cultivated a formidable body refinement technique. The masked man's eyes flashed with a cold light. Martial artists that dual cultivated martial arts and body refinement were much stronger than regular martial artists. Not only did they have superior ability, but their physical defenses were also several-fold stronger. Unless one was able to suppress their opponent, it was impossible to injure them with chi within a short period of time. Where do you think you're hiding? Chapter 94. Cool breeze blowing. Against so many hidden weapons, Li Fuchen didn't dare to be negligent. He executed his fastest sword style, the cool breeze sword style, to deflect all the hidden weapons. Just as Li Fuchen deflected all the hidden weapons, the masked man closed in again and cleaved mercilessly. Kala. The sturdy cave wall was like tofu, as a large hole was cut open by the saber. Dripping water pierces stone. Stepping on the cave wall, Li Fuchen did a somersault and instantly arrived behind the masked man. He then used the dripping sword-style sword move that was similar to Meteor Fall to stab at the masked man. This blade was unbelievably fast. Visible to the naked eye, at the tip of the black iron sword, there was an extremely condensed sword light. Get lost! The masked man reacted with extreme speed. He suddenly rotated his body and cleaved at the black iron sword. As the saber and sword clashed, a ripple spread out in the air. Li Fuchen was in mid-air, but under the force of the saber, he floated away as light as a swallow. Kid, go to hell! The Black Wind Chief had been waiting for the opportunity to kill Li Fuchen. Now that he saw Li Fuchen in mid-air and he was right behind him, how could he not know that the best opportunity was here? Bending his knee, the Black Wind Chief was like a giant grasshopper, rushing into the sky. A concentrated saber light enveloped the incoming Li Fuchen. Li Fuchen snorted. How could he not know that the Black Wind Chief had been waiting for an opportunity? This couldn't be hidden from his consciousness. Hell has no doors, yet you came. Even though he was in mid-air and had no leverage, he was still able to twist his body. Twisting his waist, Li Fuchen went from having his back to facing the Black Wind Chief. Using the flying stance, he executed the most dominant and most fearsome sword move of the Soaring Dragon sword style. Soaring Dragon in the sky. The fearsome sword presence made the Black Wind Chief feel as though he saw a 9 heavens divine dragon soaring in the sky. That indescribable dominance shocked his spirit. Who could stop a dragon in the sky? No one. Crackle crackle. As the saber light shattered, the Black Wind Chief let out a miserable shriek and was blasted into the pool by Li Fuchen. Splash, splash, splash. With a light tap on the surface of the pool, Li Fuchen came to the other side of the pool. No wonder you are an inner sect disciple of the Zhonglan sect. With your cultivation and ability, you should be one of the elite disciples in the Zhonglan sect. The masked man's voice was indifferent. Li Fuchen could feel an intense murderous aura and confidence from this indifferent tone. Boom. From bottom to top, the masked man swung his blade upwards. When the saber was brandished, the water in the pool was guided by the saber presence and turned into waves that surged towards Li Fuchen. Low-tier profound rank saber art, 100-layered waves. Li Fuchen didn't even have time to dodge. The 100-layer wave's attack range was too wide. Within a 10-meter radius, everything was within its attack range. Since he couldn't dodge, he could only take it head-on. A single spark makes a great fire. Gripping the black iron sword with both hands, Li Fuchen slashed with all his might. A spot of sword light burst out like a spark on the grassland, sweeping out wildly. But the masked man's ability was higher than Li Fuchen after all. In the face of absolute ability, no matter how exquisite the sword art was, it was still unable to make up for it. The wave extinguished the flames and crashed onto Li Fuchen. Gotcha! Li Fuchen's entire body sank into the cavern wall behind him and was drenched in sweat. How is this possible? Nothing happened? Just as the masked man was about to deliver the fatal blow, he suddenly saw Li Fuchen jumping out from the cavern wall with eyes filled with disbelief. Sorry to disappoint you. Li Fuchen circulated his qi to evaporate the water on his body. As long as he didn't receive a direct attack, it was hard to injure him. After all, his body's defenses weren't to be trifled with. Pung 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 pung. The two of them engaged in an intense battle. A few of the Black Wind bandits that rushed in didn't even have the chance to speak before they died under Li Fuchen's blade. As for those innocent naked women, they all escaped from the Karst Cave Hall. Inside the Karst Cave Hall, there were thousands of holes and cracks everywhere. Be it the masked man or Li Fuchen, they weren't regular Origin Realm martial artists. With their full strength, there weren't many things that could remain intact. During the battle, Li Fuchen frequently executed the finishing moves of the dripping sword style. A pity that every move was easily neutralized by the masked man. Of course, Li Fuchen wasn't interested in this. Dripping water pierces rock. Li Fuchen executed the dripping water pierces rock again. The masked man was enraged. Do you really think I can't do anything to you? After battling for such a long period of time, he roughly understood Li Fuchen's fighting style. Except for the tricolor sword style which posed a slight threat to him, he didn't even put Li Fuchen in his eyes. With the increase in saber presence, the masked man's battle strategy changed from 70% offense and 30% defense to 90% offense and 1% defense. He believed that 1 point of defense was enough. He needed to hit Li Fuchen with a single saber strike. If he didn't hit Li Fuchen directly, it would be hard to injure him. The saber light was like a waterfall. The masked man's saber moves were unrestrained and his defensive awareness was greatly reduced. This is the time. Li Fuchen's eyes flashed with a cold light. Meteor fall. Aiming at a flaw in the masked man, Li Fuchen's sword was like lightning as he brandished it. With a burst of light, this sword was like a meteor that flew in from the heavens. With a sudden burst of light and speed, there was nothing that could stop it. Not good. The masked man tried his best to block, but it was too late. Clang. The black iron sword scraped across the long saber and pierced through the masked man's chi protection before penetrating his chest. Get lost. The masked man's eyes flashed with fear. He clenched his right hand into a fist and punched at Li Fuchen's face. A pity that this punch was just a bluff. After being struck by the meteor fall, the masked man's chi was completely dispersed. Within a short period of time, it was already good enough for him to gather 20% or 30% of his chi. Tilting his head, Li Fuchen easily dodged this punch. At the same time, Li Fuchen quickly drew his sword and with a flick of his wrist, the sword light was like a venomous snake as it slashed across the masked man's throat. A large amount of fresh blood sprayed onto the ground. Clang. The long saber fell to the ground. The masked man covered his throat with one hand and pointed at Li Fuchen, trying his best to say something. Finally, The masked man breathed his last and fell to the ground. What a close shave. If I didn't cultivate the interception form Dao, I would have died at least 10 times over. A battle between martial artists was extremely dangerous. It didn't mean that if one's ability surpassed the opponent, it would mean that the opponent could be killed. Dual cultivation of martial body and martial arts gave Li Fuchen many more chances. In comparison, the masked man was rather miserable. His ability obviously surpassed Li Fuchen by quite a bit, but he still ended up like this. Removing the masked man's mask, what appeared in front of Li Fuchen was an ordinary pale face with eyes wide open. Taking a deep breath, Li Fuchen tilted his head and looked towards the pool. Unknowingly, the Black Wind Chief was also dead. He reckoned that when the masked man executed the 100-wave layer saber style, the shockwave killed the Black Wind Chief. Kill, take revenge for the chief. Outside the karst cave hall, dozens of bandits rushed in. The leader of the bandits was the skinny man who kidnapped Li Fuchen and brought him to the Black Wind's nest. Chapter 95. With you. Li Fuchen sneered, his eyes bloomed with a terrifying light. Swords are lethal weapons. Swords are created to kill. If swords can't kill, then it has lost its meaning. Li Fuchen's sword is undoubtedly a lethal weapon among lethal weapons. Every slash, at least 2 people died under the sword. In the karst cave hall, blood flowed like a river. Run, run quickly. The remaining few people were scared and wished their parents had more legs. They hurriedly fled out of the hall. With a kick like lightning, Li Fuchen kicked away a weapon and penetrated the body of a horse gang. After a while, dozens of horse gang who rushed in were all beheaded. Looking at the corpses on the ground, Li Fuchen didn't have a trace of guilt. These people have hands and feet and their cultivation is not weak. If they are good people, they can live well, but they should not be horse gang. What kind of people are horse gang? They kill innocent people and bully men and women. Those naked women should have been caught by them for fun. If this kind of people doesn't die, who will? You find some clothes to wear and then find the horse gang's wealth. I will share with you. In one of the cavern rooms, Li Fuchen found a dozen shivering naked women and said, "Young hero, we still have many sisters locked in the prison." A woman bravely said. Li Fuchen said, "Take me there." The bandits in the cell obviously didn't know about the earth-shattering changes outside. When they saw Li Fuchen, they questioned him in a stern voice. Li Fuchen was too lazy to talk nonsense with them, 1 sword for 1, killing them cleanly. The horse gang captured a lot of women, a total of more than 40 people. After being rescued by Li Fuchen, they couldn't help but cry. Li Fuchen sighed, "These women are very pitiful. Even if they return to the original environment, I am afraid they will be discriminated. It is too difficult for women who are captured by the horse gang to keep their innocence. Don't cry, I know your heart is not good, the future is not easy, but things have come to this point, crying is useless. Now, let's empty the horse gang's wealth. When we get to the city, I will give each of you a share of the wealth. I believe with this wealth, you can live a new life." Li Fuchen said. Under Li Fuchen's persuasion, everyone got busy and searched for the horse gang's wealth. 150,000 gold coins. There was a total of 150,000 gold coins in the Black Wind Bandits' lair. This was a great fortune. Who knew how many villages and towns the Black Wind Bandits had looted? Other than that, the bandits' weapons and hundreds of inferior demonic blood horses were also worth a lot of gold coins. After finding a few carriages, Li Fuchen loaded all the gold coins and weapons onto the carriages. He then led a group of women and 100 inferior demonic blood horses towards Qinglin City. A few days later, Azure Forest City. 1,000 gold coins per person. Take care of yourselves from now on. Booking the 2nd floor of a restaurant, Li Fuchen took out more than 40 gold cards worth 1,000 gold coins, 1 for each of the women, and then gave them some loose gold coins. He believed that with this 1,000 gold coins, as long as they didn't squander it wantonly, they wouldn't have to worry about the rest of their lives. "Thank you, young hero, for your great kindness. This little girl has no way to repay you. In my next life, I am willing to be an ox or a horse to repay your kindness. Young hero, I will never forget your kindness. More than 40 women were all grateful. To be honest, Li Fuchen was still a little moved. Separating from the women, Li Fuchen brought along his astounding wealth and returned to the Zhonglan sect. On the way back, Li Fuchen had the thought of returning home. This time, not only did he obtain an astounding amount of wealth, he also obtained a yellow class, peak-tier technique manual. If he could allow the Li clansmen to cultivate it, the Li clan's ability would definitely rise to the next level within the next few years. What's more, he had close to 200,000 gold coins on him. If he could give 100,000 gold coins to his parents, it would definitely help his parents live a better life. But in the end, Li Fuchen didn't return. He believed that the news of him becoming an inner sect disciple had already reached the Li clan. The Li clan founder and the upper echelons of the Li clan wouldn't make things difficult for his parents anymore. Most importantly, he hoped that his return would change the Li clan. But now, he couldn't make the Li clan founder take a step back. Back at the Zhonglan sect, Li Fuchen submitted his mission. The mission hall deacon was surprised that Li Fuchen could complete the bandit extermination mission. But he thought that Li Fuchen was just lucky and coincidentally met the city lord who was exterminating the bandits. If not, Li Fuchen, who was only at the second level of the origin realm, wouldn't have been able to complete this mission. Of course, no matter what, as long as he brought back the head of the Black Wind Chief, Li Fuchen would have completed this mission. As for the process of the mission, it had nothing to do with him. After submitting the Black Wind Bandit mission, Li Fuchen didn't accept any more missions. He felt that the Wind Shadow Steps and Meteor Fall were showing signs of a breakthrough. For the past month, he had been using the Wind Shadow Steps to travel. As he hurried along, he gradually understood how to eliminate air resistance and how to make himself move faster and more stealthily. Even though he only executed Meteor Fall once, it allowed him to kill an enemy who was much stronger than him. In short, be it a light body technique or a sword style, it all had to be practiced. Only through practice would the essence be left behind. ****** Spirit Elegant Peak, in the forest outside the courtyard. A ghostly black shadow, like a black smoke, quietly swept past. The black shadow's speed was abnormally fast. In the blink of an eye, it was still far away, but in the blink of an eye, it was already in front of you. To be able to move at such a fast speed and still remain stealthy, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was a ghost. The black shadow went from extreme movement to extreme stillness, gently standing on a branch that even a bird wouldn't be able to stand on, swaying along with the wind. The fourth rank of Wind Shadow Steps is indeed incredible. Light body techniques were notoriously hard to cultivate, but once it was mastered, the benefits would be immense. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that the effects of a light body technique in battle wasn't inferior to a chi cultivation technique. If the enemy's speed wasn't as fast as you could only passively take a beating. If the enemy's ability was too strong, you could use your light body technique to escape. In short, the stronger the light body technique, the stronger the initiative. It was up to you to fight or not. A few days later, PFFF, a piece of yellow class, mid-tier fine iron or that was taller than a human was forcefully pierced through by Li Fuchen's sword. A few days ago, Li Fuchen couldn't even do this. Killing power and speed were related, but it wasn't an absolute relationship. Take the Clear Breeze sword style for example, it was extremely fast, but didn't have a strong killing power. But Meteor Fall was different, it had already fused speed and power together. The faster the speed, the stronger the killing power. Of course, Meteor Fall could only be used once within a short period of time, which was far inferior to the Clear Breeze sword style. Fuchen, 3 days later, our Li clan, Guan clan, and Yang clan will have a small duel. You can go take a look and make up the numbers. On this day, an exquisite-looking young lady came to Li Fuchen's courtyard. Sister Xianxia. Li Fuchen recognized the person. Li Xianxia, 31 years old this year and at the 8th level of the origin realm. Her talent was much better than Li Xianxia, who was 30 years old this year and was only at the 5th level of the origin realm. Okay, I will be there. Li Fuchen nodded. Chapter 96. Between the inner sect and outer sect, there were plenty of empty spaces. These empty spaces would often be used for duels, and the inner and outer sect elders wouldn't bother about it. The disciples of the three clans gradually gathered in an open space with a pavilion nearby that was dozens of meters in circumference. It was obvious that the Guan clan and Yang clan were rather powerful. Each had over a dozen disciples, while the Li clan only had 5 or 6. Guan Mei and Li Yunhai were here too. The two of them were outer sect odd job disciples and didn't have a high status. They were here to make up the numbers for the duel. Li Tansher, your Li clan sure is shabby. Just a few of them. When you embarrass yourselves, don't say that our Guan clan is bullying you. Among the Guan clan's disciples, an arrogant youth mocked. Guan Yilong, it's too early for you to be happy. In this day and age, numbers are useless. What matters is strength. Among the Li clan's disciples, a tall and stern youth sneered. Li Tianshi, the Li clan's top disciple under the age of 35. He was 34 this year and was at the 8th level of the origin realm. The Guan clan's disciple, Guan Yilong, was the Guan clan's top disciple under the age of 35. He was also 34 this year and was at the 8th level of the origin realm. Before the Guan clan and Li clan had a falling out, their relationship wasn't good. Ever since they entered the sect, they had been fighting openly and covertly. There weren't any major grudges, but there were countless minor ones. The Li clan's disciples have always been thick-skinned. They are obviously weak, but they have to act like they are great. What a joke! Among the Yang clan's disciples, a tall and sturdy youth with domineering eyes sneered. Yang Ao, if you don't speak, no one will treat you as a mute. Li Jinxiu pointed at Yang Ao with slight anger. Li Jinxiu, you are just using your looks to hook up with a direct disciple. What a pity! Since when did the Li clan have to rely on their descendants to sacrifice their looks? Yang Ao's words were vicious and angered Li Jinxiu. You guys carry on, we are just here to take a look. Right at this moment, a group of people walked over. They were the Shen-Tu clan's younger generation. Under the lead of the youth, the Shen-Tu clan's group walked to the pavilion and sat down, as though they were watching a fire burn. Be it in Yunwu City or the Canglan sect, the Shen-Tu clan's status was much higher than the three major clans. Hence, the three major clans didn't want to provoke the Shen-Tu clan. They would even try to curry favor with the Shen-Tu family clan. Whoever could obtain the Shen-Tu family clan's support and friendship would gain an advantage in Cloud Fog City. However, a few years ago, it was unknown how the Li family had offended the Shen-Tu family clan. They had been banished to the Cold Palace and had been given the cold shoulder. As for the Guan family and Yang family, their relationship with the Shen-Tu family clan was not bad. In the pavilion, Shen-Tu Ju and Shen-Tu Liang sat in a corner. After being in the Canglan sect for over 2 years, Shen-Tu Ju had just broken through to the 9th level of the Qi realm. It was estimated that once he becomes an inner sect disciple, he would be around 19 years old. Shen-Tu Liang, on the other hand, was still an outer sect odd job disciple. In the previous odd job disciple selection, he did not stand out. Glancing at the disciples of the Guan clan and the Li clan, Shen-Tu Liang felt extremely sullen. The Guan clan had Guan Shui and the Li clan had Li Fuchen. These two actually stepped into the origin realm at the age of 16 and became inner sect disciples. This made him extremely frustrated. He was a disciple of the Shen-Tu family clan, but he had yet to become an outer sect disciple. Guan Shui was now at the 2nd level of the origin realm. She looked at the Li clan's camp and realized that Li Fuchen wasn't here. Shui Mei, this is your first time participating in the fight between the three clans. Just watch carefully. Maybe in a few years' time, you will become the leader of our Guan clan. Guan Hong spoke with a relaxed expression. That's right. Other than the Yang clan, which our Guan clan has to treat seriously, the Li clan isn't even worth mentioning. We don't even need to make a move. As a member of the Guan clan, Guan Yan was extremely proud. Guan Shui didn't speak, not knowing what she was thinking. Jinxiu, why isn't Li Fuchen here yet? Li Tianshi asked Li Jinxiu. Li Jinxiu frowned and said, I have already invited him, and he agreed immediately. Maybe he was delayed by something. Not even coming to the fight between the three clans. This Li Fuchen sure is arrogant. Li Xianxia said with dissatisfaction. Li Yunhai whispered, if he had any sense of honor for the clan, I wouldn't have become an odd job disciple. He always thought that it was Li Fuchen who stole the opportunity that was supposed to be his. It's about time, let the fight between the three clans begin. Li Tianshi, Yang Ao, do you have any objections? Guan Yilong asked. Yang Ao replied, I have no objections. Li Tianshi sighed, I don't have any objections either. Alright, since that is the case, everyone can start the fight. Guan Yilong looked at Guan Peng. Receiving the signal from Guan Yilong, Guan Peng walked out from the crowd. Li Yunhai, get your ass out here. Between the Guan and Li clans, only he, Guan Mei, and Li Yunhai were at the Qi realm. Hence, he could only look for Li Yunhai. Guan Peng, watch your words. Li Yunhai walked out with a gloomy face. Guan Peng laughed. You are just an odd job disciple with a low status. What qualifications do you have to gain my respect? Enough nonsense, let's fight. Guan Peng didn't give Li Yunhai any chance and immediately revolved the 7th rank white wave technique and cleaved at Li Yunhai. Li Yunhai was shocked. Guan Peng's Qi presence was too strong. During the genius contest, he still had the confidence to fight against Guan Peng. But now, he had no confidence at all. His opponent's Qi presence caused his battle intent to crumble. In the end, Li Yunhai couldn't even withstand a single blade from Guan Peng and was sent flying. Li Fuchen, it's all your fault. Li Yunhai screamed in his heart. As an odd job disciple, even though he obtained the Scarlet Fire Technique Manual, he didn't have the aid of the Scarlet Fire Pill. Hence, his Scarlet Fire Technique was only at the 6th rank. Other than that, an odd job disciple had to do a lot of chores, which reduced his cultivation time. His sword skills were also far from Guan Peng's. Being defeated by Guan Peng in a single blade, Li Yunhai felt ashamed and hated Li Fuchen to the core. Li Tianxi's expression turned ugly. Guan Hong, you get your ass out here too. Li Xianxia was eager to show off in front of Li Tianshi and shouted while pointing at Guan Hong. Hearing this, a 5th-level Origin Realm clansman from the Guan clan stood out. Li Xianxia, do you have any shame? Guan Hong is only 22 years old and you are already 30 years old. How dare you call out his name? I, Guan Yao, will teach you how to behave. Li Xianxia replied, Guan Yao, who do you think you are? I, Li Xianxia, need you to teach me how to be a man. How dare you speak so rudely to me? Li Xianxia, when did you become so daring? Guan Yao cleaved at Li Xianxia. Afraid of you? Li Xianxia countered with a blade. A fight between Origin Realm martial artists was much more exciting than a Qi Realm martial artist. The black iron swords in both of their hands had their Qi extending to a length of 4 feet. It was much stronger than the masked man that Li Fuchen met. Luckily I made it in time. Li Fuchen arrived late. At noon, he cultivated the Scarlet Mystic Flame technique as usual. Chapter 97. Fuchen, you are here. Li Jinxiu said. Apologies everyone, I am late. Li Fuchen cupped his fist towards Li Tianshi and the others. Li Yunhai snorted and turned his head away from Li Fuchen. It's good that you're here. Li Tianshi nodded. Guan family's camp. This person is Li Fuchen? It doesn't seem like much, Guan Yilong said. Guan Hong said, I will go and test him later. I don't believe that he can improve so quickly after becoming an inner sect disciple. It's good to test the waters. Guan Yilong didn't think that Guan Hong was a match for Li Fuchen, but someone had to test the waters. Beside Guan Yilong, Guan Shui's eyes flickered. Is this kid really that powerful? The Yang clansmen and Shen-Tu clansmen didn't believe in Li Fuchen's innate talent and were skeptical. Guan Yao and Li Xianxia's battle was very intense, but Li Fuchen could see that Li Xianxia's sword art rank was inferior to Guan Yao's. Within 100 moves, Li Xianxia was bound to lose. Sure enough, on the 95th move, Guan Yao sent Li Xianxia's black iron sword flying with a single slash and kicked Li Xianxia flat on his face. Li Xianxia's face turned red. Guan Yao, I'll kill you. After saying that, he got up and charged at Guan Yao. Bang! Guan Yao directly swept his leg across Li Shanhe's face, sending Li Shanhe flying and fainting. What a disgrace! Guan Yao said with disdain. Seeing this, the faces of the Li family members turned ugly, especially Li Tianxia. Every time there was a small fight between the three families, the Li family would always be the most cowardly one and suffer the most mockery. As the leader of the Li family's younger generation, Li Tianxia felt extremely aggrieved. Li Fuchen, Guan Hong, shall seek advice from you. Guan Hong took a few steps forward, drew his black iron sword and pointed it at Li Fuchen. Hearing the statement, everyone's eyes landed on Li Fuchen. They wanted to see what capabilities Li Fuchen had. But is there no one else from the Guan clan? Li Fuchen took a glance at the Guan clan's camp. Guan Yilong frowned and said coldly, "It's too early to be so arrogant. Li Fuchen, don't spout nonsense. Receive my sword." Guan Hong was infuriated. Even though he didn't have the confidence to defeat Li Fuchen, he didn't want others to look down on him. Dashing towards Li Fuchen, Guan Hong executed the soaring dragon sword style at Li Fuchen. They were both at the second level of the origin realm, but in Li Fuchen's eyes, Guan Hong was too weak. So weak that Li Fuchen wasn't even interested. The black iron sword struck like lightning, but Li Fuchen didn't move an inch and didn't seem to have any intention to dodge. Seeing this, Guan Hong's eyes flashed with delight. If Li Fuchen lost to him due to carelessness, it would definitely be great news. The black iron sword instantly pierced through Li Fuchen's body. Guan Hong was delighted at first, then shocked. Unexpectedly, this sword did not feel like it had come into contact with a physical object. But he clearly saw the black iron sword pierce through Li Fuchen's body. Was he hallucinating? Guan Hong naturally didn't have an illusion. At the crucial moment, Guan Hong's body shifted half a step to the side and dodged the blade. However, Li Fuchen's speed was too fast and there wasn't any sound of the wind. It made the afterimage very realistic and stacked with Li Fuchen's true body. Facing the defenseless Guan Hong, Li Fuchen sent a palm strike at his opponent's chest. Spurting out fresh blood, Guan Hong's feet left the ground and flew backwards. Such an incredible body technique. Li Tianxia, Guan Yilong, and Yang Ao narrowed their eyes. With their incredible eyesight, they could naturally see that Li Fuchen shifted half a step to the side, causing Guan Hong to have an illusion. Seems like he cultivated a mystic class, low-tier light body technique. Guan Yilong didn't have any expectations of Guan Hong, so he wasn't surprised that Guan Hong lost. The only surprise was that Li Fuchen's light body technique cultivation wasn't low. Li Fuchen, let me try you. Reaching out to catch Guan Hong, Guan Yen couldn't hold back her anger. With a flash, she landed in the middle of the stage. It's the cloud goose technique. Li Fuchen immediately recognized the light body technique that Guan Yen displayed. Guan Yen was 23 years old this year and was at the third level of the origin realm. Her innate talent was much higher than Guan Hong's. Having been in the Zhanglan sect for 8 years, she naturally had a deep understanding of light body techniques. Her cloud goose technique was already at the subcompletion stage and was rather impressive. This was also the main reason why she dared to challenge Li Fuchen. After all, the speed of Li Fuchen's movement technique had moved her. You are not a match for me. Li Fuchen shook his head. That might not be the case. The difference between the second and third level of the origin realm is much bigger than you can imagine. Guan Yen had a lot of confidence in her heart. She who was at the third level of the origin realm had once defeated a fifth-level origin realm martial artist. Make your move. Li Fuchen couldn't be bothered to debate with his opponent. A light piercing sound could be heard. Guan Yan's figure blurred and when she reappeared, she was already behind Li Fuchen. Cloud Goose Technique, a mystic class, low-tier light body technique. Once cultivated to a certain level, the user would be like a wild goose, able to eliminate a large amount of wind resistance and greatly increase one's speed. Defeat. Drawing her black iron sword, Guan Yen thrusted at Li Fuchen's back. Guan Yan's thrust missed. Startled, she hurriedly dodged to create a distance. Li Fuchen turned his head and laughed, "Your sword is too slow." Arrogant. With an unpleasant expression, Guan Yen brandished the black iron sword in her right hand. 3 sword lights shrouded Li Fuchen. Peak tier, yellow class sword art, tripart sword style. And it was at the trance stage. It was 1 level higher than Guan Hong's soaring dragon sword style at the perfection stage. Your sword skills aren't bad, but your body technique is too slow. It was just 1 step, but in the next moment, Li Fuchen was behind Guan Yen and sent a palm strike. Just like Guan Hong, Guan Yen vomited a mouthful of fresh blood and was sent flying, looking extremely pathetic. Many of the spectators took in a deep cold breath. Li Fuchen's light body technique was too insane, even Guan Yen couldn't react in time. Great! Li Tianxia and Li Jinxiu cheered loudly. Li Yunhai and Li Shanhe were humiliated by the Guan clansmen, causing them to lose face. But now they managed to turn the tables. Looking at Li Fuchen's relaxed expression, it was obvious that he didn't go all out. What's more, Li Fuchen didn't even draw his sword. Right now, it was the Guan clansman's turn to have an unpleasant expression. Guan Mei's eyes widened. She couldn't believe that Li Fuchen even defeated Guan Hong and Guan Yen. When the news of Li Fuchen first reached Yunwu City, she didn't believe it. But when she came to the Zhonglan sect and found out that Li Fuchen won the Outer Sect No. 1 disciple title, she didn't witness it with her own eyes and didn't have any idea. But now she had an idea. Li Fuchen was much stronger than she imagined. At this moment, she didn't feel good. At the same time, she felt an inexplicable sense of danger. Her woman's intuition told her that Li Fuchen might affect the Guan clan's development in the future. Li Yunhai was also in a bad mood. His heart was filled with despair, feeling that the heavens were unfair. Why wasn't he the one in the limelight? Why was he still an odd-job disciple with no status? This Li Fuchen seems to have some ability. It seems the Li clan is finally in luck. The Xin Tu clansmen who were watching from the other side of the river chatted cheerfully with a hint of superiority. Li Fuchen, you and I have yet to spar. Let's fight today. Guan Shue's elegant face was filled with battle intent as she spoke. Taking a deep look at Guan Shue, Li Fuchen nodded. Sure. It was true that he had yet to spar with Guan Shue. It didn't matter if he felt like it or not, it was still a regret. Chapter 98. On the empty ground, Guan Shue and Li Fuchen stood 10 meters apart. One was a prodigy of the Guan clan who had a 4-star extraordinary bone frame. One of them was a disciple of the Li family who was not valued, but now he relied on his super-strong comprehension ability to achieve glory. The battle between the two of them was of great importance. Even Guan Yilong and Li Tianxia had a serious expression on their faces. Li Fuchen, I have no regrets about the annulment of the engagement. This is my own destiny and no one can control it. Guan Shue spoke slowly. Li Fuchen replied, to tell you the truth, I have never liked you. If Li Fuchen wants something, I will grab it with my own hands. I don't need charity from others, especially marriage. Never liked me? Not knowing why, after hearing this statement, Guan Shue felt a little stifled in her heart. She was very confident in her looks and talents. But when she found out that a youth who she once looked down on had never put her in his heart, anyone would feel uncomfortable. Since this is the case, let us settle our grudges in this battle. Taking a deep breath, Guan Shue's eyes were filled with pure battle intent and nothing else. Regrettably, this battle, I will win. Li Fuchen still didn't have the intention to draw his sword and calmly looked at Guan Shue. With a flash of coldness in her eyes, Guan Shue drew her black iron sword and sprinted towards Li Fuchen. Guan Shue's cultivation was 1 level lower than Guan Yen, but her ability was on par with Guan Yen. Not only did she cultivate the mystic class, mid-tier, Jade Shadow Mystic technique to the 9th rank, she also cultivated a low-tier, mystic class, Mystic Water Sword style to the subcompletion stage. In addition, the Cosmic Cloud Battle Body was also cultivated to the completion stage and her physical strength rose to 7,000 kilograms. With these 3 factors stacked together, she was able to defeat a regular 4th-level Origin Realm, 3rd-grade Inner Sect disciple. Guan Yen was only a 3rd-grade Inner Sect disciple. Among the crowd, only Guan Shui and Li Fuchen were first-grade inner sect disciples. The second-grade inner sect disciples could be counted on one hand. Mystic water surge. With a swing of the sword, the air vibrated and rippled like a stream of water. Guan Shui's sword style was abnormally exquisite and uninterrupted. Red jade illuminating snow. Against Guan Shui's all-out strike, Li Fuchen made his move. When he struck out with his palm, the blazing palm energy caused everything within a radius of several meters to turn red. Even the void seemed to have turned into a piece of red jade that emitted a scorching heat. Voila! When Guan Shui's sword art met with Li Fuchen's palm force, it was like the scorching sun melting the snow. The sword presence and the sword light rapidly melted. Not good. Guan Shui's expression changed. Li Fuchen was obviously executing the Li clan's high-tier, yellow-class palm art, red jade palm. But when executed by Li Fuchen, the power of the red jade palm was excessively domineering. Guan Shui hurriedly changed her sword stance. Take another palm strike from me. Li Fuchen sent out another palm strike. The blazing palm force was like a furnace, forcing Guan Shui to take a few steps back. Scarlet Flame Mystic Art Stage 10, or? Li Xianxia was bewildered. Most of the Li clansmen cultivated either the Scarlet Fire technique or the Scarlet Mystic Flame technique. Li Xianxia, who cultivated the Scarlet Mystic Flame technique to the 11th rank, felt that Li Fuchen's chi wave was very familiar. It was almost similar to his own 11th rank Scarlet Mystic Flame technique. This caused him to be appalled. It was said that Li Fuchen's perception was astounding, but this was too astounding. He cannot be allowed to defeat Guan Shui. Guan Yilong's expression was ashen. Guan Shui was the symbol of the Guan clan. If Guan Shui was defeated, it would have a huge impact on the Guan clansmen. He would never allow such a thing to happen. Guan Yao, make your move at the crucial moment. If there is an opportunity, I don't mind if you injure him in one move. Guan Yilong whispered to Guan Yao. As the leader of the Guan clan, he wasn't suited to do such a thing. Leaving it to Guan Yao was the most suitable choice. Don't worry. Guan Yao laughed coldly. Guan Peng, who could vaguely hear their conversation, let out a cold laugh. To be able to suppress Guan Shui with just his palm arts, this Li Fuchen may be a disaster. The young clansman who didn't care at the start had now turned serious. No matter what Li Fuchen's bone frame was like, at least in terms of his improvement speed, he was a huge threat. With the years of conflict between the Yang and Li clans, once Li Fuchen matured, the Yang clan wouldn't have it easy either. Although the possibility was low, even a low-leveled Earth Realm martial artist wouldn't be able to do anything to the Yang clan. With Li Fuchen's talent, it was unknown if he could even become an Earth Realm martial artist. But no matter what, this possibility existed. In an instant, the Yang clansmen developed a deep enmity towards Li Fuchen. In the middle of the empty space, Guan Shui pursed her lips and retreated step by step. Li Fuchen suppressed her with just his palm arts, causing her to fall into a trance. Back then, she never thought that she would have a chance to meet Li Fuchen again. Never did she think that such a situation would occur. Li Fuchen's existence had subverted her beliefs and pride to a certain extent. Lose. Revolving the Scarlet Mystic Flame technique, Li Fuchen brazenly sent out a palm strike. The blazing palm force condensed into a ball and collided with Guan Shui's sword style. With fresh blood leaking from the corner of her mouth, Guan Shui's black iron sword was repelled and she was about to lose. Li Fuchen, your ability isn't bad. Let me, Guan Yao, give you some pointers. Right at this moment, a figure appeared in front of Guan Shui and sent a palm strike at Li Fuchen. Despicable. Shameless. Li Xianxia and Li Jinxiu were enraged. They never would have thought that the Guan clan would be so shameless to do such a despicable thing. But it was too sudden and they couldn't provide aid in time. They could only watch as the situation unfolded. Li Fuchen's eyes flashed with a cold light. He didn't retreat and welcomed Guan Yao with a palm strike. Rumble. It was as though a thunder had exploded. A horrifying chi force spread out and scraped the ground by 3 inches. In the next moment, the two figures each took 7 to 8 steps back. Each step left a deep footprint on the ground. How could this be? Guan Yao was shocked. He was a 5th-level origin realm martial artist, and he couldn't even injure Li Fuchen with a single palm strike. Guan Yao wasn't the only one who was shocked, everyone else was too. Li Tianshi and Li Jinxiu were both surprised and delighted. Guan Yao, who allowed you to make a move? Get lost. Guan Shui's expression changed as anger flashed across her face. Hearing this, Guan Yao's expression didn't look good. It was fine if he didn't injure Li Fuchen, but he was reprimanded by Guan Shui instead. This was simply two different sides of the coin. For a moment, he didn't know how to react. Suppressing her anger, Guan Shui took a deep breath and said to Li Fuchen, "I admit my loss in this duel." Finishing her statement, she turned and left, ignoring the Guan clansman. "From now on, you and I will have no more interactions." Li Fuchen let out a breath and thought in his heart. Defeating Guan Shui didn't give him any satisfaction. His goal was to reach the peak of the martial Dao. Be it Guan Shui, Yuan Tian, or any other prodigies, he didn't care. His opponent was himself. As long as he unearthed all of his potential, there would be a day when he would reach the peak and look down on the 9 heavens. Welcome to Legends of Cultivation, audiobooks, where we bring ancient fantasy to life through storytelling. Follow the rise of heroes who defy fate, unlock mystical powers, and battle across celestial realms. Our audiobooks are crafted for fans of Chinese cultivation novels, filled with battles, breakthroughs, and legendary artifacts. Subscribe and be part of an unforgettable journey into the realm of immortality.